Hello, David. My name is Ellen. I'll be correcting your essays for you. Let's take a look at what you have written here. The first one is about schools and if they should be more entertaining. So here is what you wrote. Currently, it is discussed if schools need to create a friendly environment where children can have fun, or that the primary and unique objective of schools is to educate. The present essay agrees that classes must be accompanied with entertaining activities, since they will have to be more effective for the children's learning process. All right, on the whole, I thought you did a nice job of this. There are a couple of little things, minor things that I would like to change, okay? So let's look at it one more time, this time correcting some of the grammar, some of the language. You've got this time marker here currently, and so this is a word that is usually used with the present continuous. So this should be, currently it is being discussed if schools need to create a friendly environment where children can have fun, or if the primary and unique objective of schools is to educate. All right, so there's two errors there. And then this is fine, except I don't know if you necessarily needed this comma. You could have done without it. And then it's fine. All right, so let's continue. Schools applying a multidisciplinary approach where traditional subjects are not taught in a typical way have showed an improvement in their students' development. An improvement. Yeah, here you want improvement in their students' development. In other words, when teachers provide their classes in novel and didactic forms with comfortable, relaxed, and diverting lessons, students will capture more easily concepts related to science, math, or history, which are usually hard to follow. A clear example is a Montessori education system where children grow up academically learning a wide range of subjects, whereas building up confidence, and interpersonal skills. All right. So the thing that's happening here with this paragraph is that it's clear to me that you have a very wide vocabulary and your grasp of grammar so far from what I could see is quite good. However, I felt like there were words that were used incorrectly here. So you need to be careful with this, okay? Let's see. So I wasn't crazy about this. I like novel, but I didn't like a didactic form. You don't provide a class in a didactic form. That's a strange kind of collocation that doesn't feel particularly natural. So I would avoid that expression here. I would also avoid diverting lessons. I think I know what you're trying to say. I think you mean maybe distracting, but I'm not sure. In any case, neither one of them are particularly appropriate here. And then capture is also a wrong word. They will maybe learn. Students will assimilate. I'm not really sure what you're trying to say. Students will let's just play for a minute and say, let's just pretend for a minute the word you want here is learn. So students will learn concepts related to science, math, or history, which are usually hard to follow, more easily. So grammatically, this has to be fixed as well. Or you could have put the more easily in front of the verb. So students will more easily learn concepts related to science, etc., etc. And then you didn't want whereas here. Okay, whereas is not the right word. I think you wanted something like in addition to, as well as, like these would have been more appropriate than whereas. Whereas has an absolutely different use here, okay? So let's look at the next paragraph. On the other hand, schools aiming for a strict and rigid way of teaching will overwhelm their students by not giving them the opportunity to refresh their minds. Nowadays, education without the is extremely competitive, and break times with entertaining purposes can play a key role, particularly when there are children with no conventional capabilities, such as the ones who are good at sports or art. Okay, this is not a full sentence, this is a fragment, because you've got this subordinate clause here, when there are children, blah, blah, blah. So there's no main clause to make this a sentence. Maybe what you wanted here is you could have just taken out the when, which would make this difference. And you could say, particularly, there are children with no conventional capabilities, such as the ones who are good at sports or arts. For instance, a lesson where pupils learn how to make handicrafts can enhance their skills related to creativity, which will be significantly useful for students interested in arts. All right, now here, I have to admit, David, you kind of lost me. I'm not really quite sure what this paragraph is about. So it sounds like in the beginning, let me just talk it out, okay? Sounds like in the beginning you're talking about how this academic only type of teaching is a bad idea, and that entertaining is a good idea because it helps break up the stress and the monotony. But then I totally didn't understand this. Like, are you saying that this is really useful when you're not good at academic subjects, but maybe you're good at sports or arts? Maybe this is what you meant, but it was phrased rather awkwardly, and so that was kind of hard to decipher. Um, for instance, a lesson where pupils learn how to make handicrafts can enhance their skills related to creativity, which will be significantly useful. I don't like the significantly useful. That's not a very that's not a good collocation there. Which will be useful for students interested in arts. Okay. I the second time around I have a better idea of what it is you're trying to say. I still think that in terms of the arguments, they could have been stronger. You could have developed this a little more fully. Okay, so that's another thing that I wanted to just say about that. You could have developed it a little more fully because basically what happens at the end of this paragraph is that I have questions. So, for example, all right, let's say I'm not a traditionally academically gifted student, and so I'm doing arts, but there are some kids who aren't good at arts either, or they're not good at sports. So, how does this somehow help the education system? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I didn't feel like this whole line of reasoning was particularly effective. Also, I want to point out to you that along the lines of what I was saying, that if you're not good at arts or sports, for example, these can still be pretty stress provoking. Okay. Imagine playing sports when you're not good at them. And sometimes, even when you are good at them, playing the actual sport itself cannot be considered entertaining. It's stressful, it's adrenaline producing, but you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, this is entertaining. So, this is where this essay is really trying to test your understanding of vocabulary. And I think that the key word here is entertainment. What do we mean? Well, by entertainment, we mean laughing, enjoyment, fun, amusement. These are all things that we associate with entertainment. Lighthearted fun, really. Okay. So, think about the things that are entertaining and then how those things could be used in a school setting. So, with that said, and a lot of students do this, they talk about sports or arts. Well, maybe sports are entertaining if you're watching them, okay? And maybe the arts are fun if you're watching a concert. Maybe that's entertaining. But, for some people, when you're actually doing the activity, it's not really fun at all. It's actually serious preparation. And so just think about some of these things in terms of the arguments that you decide to use when you're writing. Okay, I'm not saying you can't use them, but it is important to use them in the right way so that they help your argument. All right, let's see. To sum up, children must have more than a typical classroom with traditional learning processes. The evidence confirms that entertaining classes will represent a critical step for the future personal and academic growth of pupils. All right, that's lovely. I like your conclusion quite a bit. So I thought this was a good first attempt. I thought there were some nice elements to it, but I was a little concerned with the topic development in the second body paragraph. and then some of the vocabulary that we saw throughout the essay as well. So with that, let's go to your second essay about doing an enjoyable activity with a child. Many people believe that entertaining tasks for pupils, careful, are more useful than the habit of reading because they will construct deeper abilities such as better creativity. I don't know if you necessarily construct deeper abilities. Maybe you build deeper abilities, develop deeper abilities for sure. So this is a matter of collocation, which words go together. The present essay argues that reading is the main tool to build imagination, good judgment, and critical thinking in students. However, at the same time, enjoyable activities can be a considerable instrument to be added in the children's learning process and achieve a better academic performance. Okay, so on the whole, you like reading, but let's not neglect other fun activities. Okay, I get it. So when students read a book, I don't know where I saw the word children. Okay, I guess I saw it up here. When students read a book, they start to create a world. You don't need all these commas. You didn't need one here. Here it was fine. So when students read a book, comma, they start to create a world where they can imagine multiple situations and different characters. This is essential since they adopt a position where creativity is under constant improvement. Moreover, books can teach you about history or give you knowledge that cannot be found anywhere without the out, forming smart students capable of judging and criticizing accurately various academic scenarios. Careful, this accurately, again, it's like we saw in the previous essay, you shouldn't separate your verb, judging and criticizing, from your object, various academic scenarios. So, capable of accurately judging and criticizing various academic scenarios would be much better. For instance, since the UK has introduced a carefully well-developed reading plan in their schools, the level of their children's performance in school has soared significantly. All right, so what you're telling us is that reading can improve creativity, and then it also produces smart students. Okay, so I'll move on from there. Oops, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see. There we go. Okay, despite the fact that the habit of reading is extremely useful and valuable for children, it can be accompanied with entertaining activities. You don't need a comma here, since it will enhance its effect. Scientific evidence has showed that if a student If a student shares moments with their classmates after reading, where they can play, have fun, or carry out some handmade tasks, they will have a better development of their creativity skills. Okay, let me read this paragraph one more time because I'm a little confused. The first thing that I can tell right away is that it's really short. It's 6 lines long from what I can see, 5 lines long from what I can see. Let me take that back. This one is 7, so it's a little shorter. It felt underdeveloped, okay? Now, here you're talking about reading, and then you're talking about entertaining activities, and look at this. Since it will enhance its effects. What will enhance what's effects? Because you have so many nouns here in this sentence, it's not clear what these it are referring to. Are you saying that the entertaining activities will enhance the effect of reading? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure because you've got these 2 its, and it's not clear to me what you're referring to. So be careful when you use pronouns in this way. Okay, and then what does this sentence really say to us? That if you play, have fun, or do a task after you read, you will develop your creativity better? That's not entirely clear. But if you look at this paragraph, it's essentially just 2 sentences. So that's kind of what made me think that this was just really too underdeveloped. You needed more. You needed more support. You needed more main ideas. It felt to me like it was not appropriately developed. It needed more to it, more substance, more information. All right, let's take a look at your conclusion. To sum up, both strategies can be used to improve the education of children. However, reading is a core approach where other methods can be included. All right, that's fine. But going back to this, uh, it sounds to me like what you're essentially trying to say is that these entertaining activities should just be a supplement to reading. Is that correct? I should be able to gauge that. I should be able to garner that, if that's the case, from your essay without actually having to ask you, like, is this what you're trying to say? So make sure that your central message is clear throughout the paragraph. It's important also for your task, your coherence and cohesion score. So make sure that the central idea, the message you're trying to send about the paragraph, make sure it's coming through. All right, so next steps. The first next step is for you to correct these essays based on the suggestions in the video, then return them to us corrected. Also, you'll need to start an error correction list where you write down the mistakes and next to each mistake, the correct version. Add to it with every essay you get back from us. And then the third thing you need to do, of course, is to write us a new set of essays. So let's meet back here with that set. I'll be waiting for it, so good luck to you.